Welcome to another video with the TI-83 Plus graphing calculator. Today we're going to do some matrix algebra, or in more simpler terms, operations with matrices. The operation of addition and subtraction of matrices is defined as long as the number of rows and columns is the same for each matrix involved in that operation. For multiplication, it's a little bit more involved, so I'm going to focus on this video on the multiplication of matrices. So I'm going to look at exercise number 3 here, where they give you two matrices A and C, and they want you to find the product. So just like in the previous video, I'll be using basically the matrix menu. So I'm going to second, matrix, and I'm going to use matrix A. Since the matrices are A and C, I'm going to stick with A and C. So I'll go to edit, hit enter. Matrix A is dimension 2 rows, 3 columns, so 2 by 3, so enter a 2, enter, then a 3, enter. Then the components are the first row, 0, enter, 5, enter, -4, enter. Second row, 1, enter, 1, enter, 3, enter. Go. Second quit. We're out of this menu. Now go back to the matrix menu again, and we're going to define the components for C. So go to edit. I'm going to use C, which is number 3, so I hit 3 here on the keyboard. And C is a 3 by 2, so enter 3, enter, 2, enter. And then we enter the components. So it's 3, enter, 1, enter, 2, enter, 1, enter, -2, enter, 6, enter. Okay, then we go quit. Now we want the matrix A times C. So let's go back to the matrix menu. We want A, so we hit enter. There's A. Then we want to multiply that by C, so go to the matrix menu again, hit 3 to get excess matrix C. Delete this. Okay, hit enter, and the product of the answer has components 18, -19, -1, and 20. Okay, so we're going to clear this. Now I'm going to look at number 4. Has 3 matrices A, B, and C defined. So again, I'm going to reset my calculator so that I clear the memory, so I could use those same matrices. So okay, matrix A. So A, go over to edit. A is dimension 2 by 3, 2 rows, 3 columns. So put a 2, enter, 3, enter. And then we enter the components. 0, enter, 1, enter, -1, enter, 1, enter, 2, enter, 4, enter. Okay, then we're out of this menu, so second, quit, and then back to the matrix menu. Now we're going to define matrix B, so I go over to edit. I hit 2 since I want matrix B. Matrix B again is 2 by 3, so enter 2, followed by enter, then 3, and then again enter the components, and then when you enter the component you follow by enter. So 3, 1, 0, -4, 3, and -4. Okay, out of the menu, we want matrix C now. So back to the matrix menu. Number 3 is C, so hit 3, and C has dimensions 3 by 2. So enter a 3, then a 2. Enter the components. So it'd be 4, then a 1, then a 2, a 6, -1, and a 1. And we want out of this menu. Okay, so we want C times A plus C times B. Go to second, matrix, and then C, so hit 3. And then again back to the matrix menu. A is number 1, so just hit 1 or just hit enter. Okay, plus matrix C again, back to the matrix menu, number 3, and then we want to multiply that by B. So second matrix, B is number 2. There it is, C times A plus C times B. Hit enter, and we get the matrix with components 3 by 3 with components 9, 13, -4, -12, 34, -2, -6, 3, and 1. That's the way you would work that problem in the calculator. Okay, now number 5 says find the inverse for each matrix. Now when they say inverse, this means the multiplicative inverse. So if you're talking about, say, whole numbers, the inverse or multiplicative inverse of 2 would be 1/2. If you multiply the 2 out, 2 times 1/2 would give you 1. That's your identity for multiplication. The multiplicative inverse for 3 would be 1/3. 3 times 1/3 is 1. Gives you the identity. Okay, so for this one here, I want the inverse of this matrix. So again, what I'm going to do is go to the matrix menu. And I just want to enter the components. I can use A, I can use D. Here I'm just going to use D. So I'm going to go over to Edit, and I'm going to hit 4. And this is a 2 by 2. So this will be 2. Hit enter. 2. Hit enter. Okay, enter the components. The first row would be 8. Followed by enter, 7, 2, and 2. Okay, then we're out of this menu. Okay, now we're going to do this. Access that matrix, back to the matrix menu, and we want D, which has these components right here that I just defined. So hit 4, and here's where we're going to find the inverse. See this little right here, this x to the -1. This gives me, but this puts a -1 as an exponent, which dictates the inverse. So hit enter. Well, I gotta put it on there, so let me do this. So second, so I'm doing it on this, okay, which is the same as this. So let's hit enter, and there you have it. Now remember, this gives me a fraction. So if you don't want, if you're looking for this is a decimal, so if you want fractions, just go to the math menu. There's fraction there, so let's hit enter. And remember, this command changes the components of the previous answer into from decimal to fraction. So we hit enter. Okay, so we get the inverse is 1 components, -7/2, -1, and 4. So this is the inverse, multiplicative inverse of this matrix. So if I were to multiply those two matrices out, I would get the identity for matrix. So let's try that out. Let's say I want to multiply. So let's say I'm going to hit the multiplication sign here, times. So this is going to be multiplying this matrix. Okay, I want to multiply by what? The original matrix. So let me go back to the matrix menu. And that was matrix D. So let's hit a 4. Okay, so hit enter. And if the answer is correct, I'm supposed to get the identity matrix for multiplication. So hit enter, and there it is. 1, 0, 0, 1. Remember, the identity for multiplication is a square matrix. That is, the number of rows and columns is the same, and the numbers along the main diagonal here are ones. Everything above it or below it is a 0. Now, you can also get the answer on the home screen without going to the matrix menu. So I did this when I was working with determinants. Remember, a determinant is a number associated with a square matrix. So on the home screen, this is what I'm going to do. Go to second and hit the bracket here, and then second, and then bracket again, and then enter the components of the first row. So that would be 8, 7, and then we close with a bracket. So the right bracket would be this one, and then we start again with a bracket. Left bracket would be this one, and then the components of the second row. So it would be 2, 2, and then we close. Okay, and then we put main brackets. So we close it. So basically, I'm defining the matrix on the home screen. So the way it works, if you're going to do it in the home screen, you have to start with brackets, and then the rows are contained in brackets. So notice brackets, brackets, first row, brackets, brackets, second row, and then you close with brackets. And then I'm going to use the inverse, which is this little key right here. So hit this key here. It puts it right there. Hit enter. Okay, again, same answer, except again, the same thing I did last time. Put math, hit enter, enter again, and it gives me the inverse matrix. Now, this can be done the same way. This one can be done exactly as this one. You can define it in the matrix menu. It's a 3 by 3, and then do it like I did this one, or you can put this on the home screen like I did here in the brackets, put the -1, and you get the inverse. Okay, so very handy to use the TI-83 Plus to find product of matrices, inverse of matrices. Now if you had a 3 by 3, we can do it in the calculator in a matter of 1 or 2 minutes. If you did it the long way, it might take you 10, 15, 20 minutes. Think of a 4 by 4. That could take you over 30 minutes. On the calculator, you can do it within a few minutes. 2 minutes max. Okay, we're out of here. I hope this helps. We'll be back with another video later on.